February 4th, 2016. 8:36 in the evening, Dhaka, Bangladesh. The country's central bank is dark. The weekend has begun. The office is empty. And inside its computers, one of the largest bank heists ever attempted is already underway. No masks, no guns, no getaway car. Just a cursor, moving on a screen no one is watching. And almost all of it will be stopped, not by a firewall, not by a detective, but by two tiny, absurd accidents no criminal could ever have planned for. One of them is a single misspelled word. The other is even stranger. To understand the crime, you have to understand the target. Bangladesh Bank is not a bank you walk into. It is the central bank of an entire nation, the institution that holds the foreign reserves of 170 million people. But those billions don't sit in a vault in Dhaka. They sit thousands of miles away in an account at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And money moves between them through a system most people have never heard of. SWIFT, the nervous system of global banking, the network banks use to send each other payment orders. It runs on one fragile assumption, that every message arriving through it is real. On SWIFT, a message is not a request, it is a command. Send the right codes and the money simply moves. Which means the backbone of global finance has exactly one weakness: trust. And someone has already found it. So who would attack a thing like that? For months, no one would know. But every clue would point one direction. A group the security world calls Lazarus. Hackers believed to work for the government of North Korea. A nation so isolated, so starved of cash, that it had begun doing something no country had done before. It had started robbing banks, not with soldiers, with code. But that comes later. It begins the way these things always begin, with a single email. Sometime in 2015, an employee at Bangladesh Bank receives a message, an attachment. They click. And that one click opens a door. The intruders step through it, and then they do the one thing that separates a petty hacker from a national threat. They wait. For nearly a year, they live inside the bank's network, silent, patient, watching. They learn how the staff log in. They learn the rhythm of the building, when people arrive, when they leave, when the system falls quiet. And they find their way to the most sensitive machine in the entire institution, the terminal that connects Bangladesh Bank to SWIFT. But reaching the terminal isn't enough. Every time a transfer goes out, SWIFT prints a paper confirmation, a physical receipt in a back room that a human can read. If staff see receipts for transfers they never made, the alarm goes up in seconds. So the attackers write custom malware to kill that exact problem. Their code hijacks the printer. It rewrites the confirmation system so the fraudulent transfers leave no trail at all. They are not just stealing the money, they are blinding the people guarding it. And then they choose their moment, and the timing is a weapon. In Bangladesh, the weekend is Friday and Saturday, so they strike Thursday night. By the time the orders hit New York, it's still a working day there. But by the time Bangladesh returns to its desks, New York will be closed for its weekend. For 5 days, no one will be awake at both ends of the wire at once. It is a window built out of time zones, and they are about to drive $1 billion straight through it. At 8:36 p.m., the first fraudulent message leaves Dhaka, then another, and another. 35 transfer orders, $951 million, almost the entire reserve of a country, ordered to accounts in the Philippines and Sri Lanka. The heist is live, and for a few hours it works perfectly, but this is only the beginning. In New York, the Federal Reserve begins to process the requests. The money starts to move. 5 orders clear, roughly $100 million, racing out toward Manila and a second account in Sri Lanka. The plan is working. And then the machine does something the hackers never accounted for. Because every payment crossing the U.S. financial system is screened automatically, checked against a blacklist of sanctioned people, companies, and places. And one of the fraudulent orders carries an address. The money is routed through a branch on a Manila street, a street named Jupiter. And Jupiter, by pure, blind coincidence, is also the name of a sanctioned Iranian oil tanker on America's watch list. The system sees the word. It doesn't know it's a street. It only knows it matches something forbidden, and it stops. Not one transfer, dozens. The filter freezes 30 of the 35 orders for human review. Hundreds of millions of dollars halted in an instant by a planet's name on a street sign. But the hackers don't know that yet. And of the money that already cleared, one piece is still moving. $20 million bound for Sri Lanka. It slipped past the sanctions filter, but it is about to be undone by something even smaller. That $20 million transfer is headed to an organization called the Shalika Foundation. But on the order, the name is spelled wrong. Not foundation, F-A-N-D-A-T-I-O-N. Foundation. One wrong letter. A routing bank in the chain, Deutsche Bank, sees it, and something is off. A real foundation does not misspell its own name on a $20 million payment. So the bank pauses and sends a routine query back down the line to Dhaka. Can you confirm this is real? That question is the thread. And once it is pulled, the whole crime begins to unravel. Because in Dhaka, it is now the start of the work week. The bankers return, they go to check the SWIFT system, and the printer is dead. They restart it by hand, and the receipts begin to print, page after page. Transfers to Sri Lanka, transfers to the Philippines, orders no one in the building ever authorized, and the horror sets in. They check the reserve account at the Fed. $81 million gone, and pending behind it, orders for over 800 million more. Now it is a race. Bangladesh Bank fires frantic messages to New York. Stop everything, reverse it. But it is the weekend in America. The phones ring in empty offices. And yet, it holds. The Jupiter coincidence has already frozen the biggest transfers. The Typo stops the next. By the time anyone can act, over $850 million sits trapped in the system, unable to move. Of the $1 billion the attackers reach for, all but a fraction is saved by a tanker and a typo. But the $81 million that reached Manila is already gone. It lands in 4 accounts at a single Manila bank, opened months earlier under names that don't exist. How do you make $81 million vanish in a single weekend? You don't hide it, you play it. The money pours onto the one surface on Earth built to make it untraceable. The casino floor, turned to chips, gambled, cashed out, handed to middlemen who disappear. By the time investigators follow the trail is gone. A casino operator hands back about $15 million. A bank manager is eventually convicted, but roughly $66 million is simply gone, and the masterminds are ghosts in a country that does not answer warrants. In 2018, the United States charges a North Korean programmer named Park Jin-hyuk, tying him not just to this heist, but to a global campaign of attacks. He has never seen the inside of a courtroom. He never will. And Lazarus does not stop. The same fingerprints surface again and again across the world, proof that the Bangladesh job was never a one-off. It was a rehearsal. The first time a nation reached across the planet and tried to empty a country's treasury from behind a keyboard. They came one sanctions filter, one spell check, away from one of the largest thefts in history. The most advanced bank robbery ever attempted, beaten by chance. By a coincidence no one designed, and a mistake no one caught until it was almost too late. So the next time a tiny error makes you wince, a typo, a wrong letter, a word your fingers fumble, remember the night a misspelled word stood between a criminal empire in $1 billion. And won.